Yippee couch potatoes, and welcome back to yet another green and faceless on the couch genre Smackdown Xmas edition.
Yeah. We're also, it's some kind of winter holiday for someone.
Yeah, Xmas edition.
Yeah, Xmas edition. Yes. I was just saying, there's a lot of different winter holidays. Whatever you celebrate, here we go. This is,
December's End edition.
Yes. There you go. I'll title it the December Xmas Maybe edition. Well, these movies, I would say we're arguing they are Christmas movies. We are.
They are Christmas movies. I think
one of them very clearly, and then some people have controversy over
the other widely recognized by most as a Christmas movie. It's just like when you're watching a Halloween movie. It's not technically about Halloween, and it has comedy in it to alleviate that horror that is generally in the atmosphere. So is, Die Hard.
Yeah. An
action movie that takes place in Christmas time.
That's
and
true.
Is 100% a Christmas movie because of that.
Yes. And our other contestant in the ring is Jingle All the Way.
An actual Christmas movie.
Hey, you said it, not me. But it is another Christmas action movie. We're doing Christmas action.
Well, I wouldn't call Jingle All the Way an action movie. It has action elements.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just, it's an attempt at comedy. It's a comedy.
I think it was billed as an action comedy. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it has 2 action scenes, if that.
That's fair.
The end, I guess, the third act is mostly action packed. But it's terrible action, in my opinion. It's so stupid.
I love it.
We'll get into it.
Well, are we gonna go? Okay, yeah, you go.
I will say there is one more connecting thread to lead into these movies. There is one more connecting thread between both of them, aside from being movies that take place during the Christmas season. They both tell the tale of one policeman who is struggling so desperately to fight ne'er-do-wells throughout the course of one day. So let's go into Jingle All the Way, where Arnold Schwarzenegger just terrorizes one policeman constantly throughout the entire day. That guy's just doing his job.
Yeah, okay. I forgot about this policeman. I thought you were talking about Sinbad's character, who's a mailman. And I was like,
no.
What? And I'm like, no, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a poor policeman who is just harassed by Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, like, constantly. He breaks it, like, he backs up into his bike, he pours hot coffee on his hands. Yeah, he delivers a bomb into his hands, basically. We can blame that one on Sinbad, but Arnold was involved. It's just he hurt this poor guy so much, and he's just doing his job.
Well, all right. I think I should say what Jingle All the Way is about.
All right.
Jingle All the Way. This workaholic dad, which is kind of funny to imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger that way, but he did help run California for a little while, so I'm sure he was pretty busy. But anyhow, he forgot to get the toy of the year for his little boy, Turbo Man.
Mm-hmm.
Turbo Man doll.
Turbo guy.
And anyways, the whole movie, the majority of the movie is about him hunting for this toy in competition with practically the rest of the world. And
but most specifically Sinbad.
most specifically Sinbad. And that's the synopsis of the movie. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And you simply just say workaholic as adjective for him. I say worst father ever.
Yeah, he's not
like in so many
great.
ways. Yeah, and it's not just because he's like a workaholic. I mean that does a lot affect a lot of his relationships. But like he just doesn't listen or seem to care at all about either of his family members. You know, his wife tells him something in one ear, out the other. His kid, like something's very important to his kid, he doesn't give a damn. Like,
yeah, he's not doing so great. And
no,
but I mean, I do feel like he is trying to redeem that by going after this toy. But the fact that he's going after it last minute, it just speaks to his failing as a stable parent.
Yeah, his need for redemption also comes from a very selfish, like he's not doing it for the kid. You know, he's not doing it because he wants to see the kid happy. He's doing it because he wants his kid to love him and make him again feel more powerful as a person. Because he's just like, you know, I like feeling powerful. I like my kid, you know, seeing me and thinking I was strong and powerful. And you know, at the end, that is kind of the message he sends too. Is, you know, he puts on a costume, saves his kid's life, and his wife's like, "Damn, he's hot." You know, he's like super muscular, and he's like, see, I'm super powerful. Like me again. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I vibed so badly with the message of this movie.
Well, that's fair. But see, I watched this movie as a child.
I did too,
over
actually.
and over again.
So
there's
not
definitely
over and
some
over.
Nostalgia factor for me. But I do want to talk about what you said about power. Made me think about Phil Hartman in this movie playing Ted, their horny single dad neighbor who's been sleeping around the neighborhood and now has targeted his wife, Liz.
Arnold's wife,
yeah, the protagonist's wife, and he does some kind of pretty gross, sleazy things, but it's always like very lightly masked to be just funny enough for me to get a good chuckle out of it. But it's
gross too.
Yeah, he's gross.
You know, I only watched it a couple times as a kid. But as a kid, I didn't catch that he was gross because, as you said, it is. I mean, it's not very subtle. It's very on the nose.
Yes. But as a kid,
it's on the nose for the nose for adults. Mm-hmm. As a kid, you know, it just comes across as just like, well, he's weird. He's kind of awkward. That's whatever. You know, whatever.
But it's very like nudge, hint. But like you said, as an adult, we understand. What he's saying.
It felt like that he was the kind of man who could become a rapist. In my opinion.
Yeah, no,
he's a creep.
Yeah, and this is like, you know, it's 90s humor, and I don't think that they were trying to say he wasn't a creep, but I think that people probably wouldn't try this so much anymore. In film, some of the bits that the character does, but I gotta say, it made me laugh. He was a funny guy, Phil Hartman. But anyhow, he said something to Howard, Arnold's character, when he was like driving away. He's like, "Yeah, can't bench press away that problem." And Arnold's just like, "What?"
It is that kind of humor, and like, as a kid, I did enjoy it. As an adult, I find it a little more cringeworthy. It kind of like it felt dated. I said that really weird. Dated.
It is dated.
but that's not like a technical, like a bad detriment to the movie, per se. But it just, I don't know. I especially like the focus on monetization of Christmas. I liked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. You know, that how things are overpriced at Christmas time. You know, the need to get the, you know, that the greatest toy of the year and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm gonna be a bad parent. I know I'm gonna be if I have a kid, because I'm not gonna get my kid that kind of shit. Like, I'm just not, you know.
Yeah.
And
it's not that you don't want them to have that thing. It's that you don't want to partake in the mania of the commercialism. I feel like.
Yeah. I want the gifts I give to be meaningful, in a way. You know, so it's like I do put thought into my gifts when I give them out to people.
Yeah.
They mean something to the relationship I have with that person. And I definitely feel like Christmas has become, you know, fuck the emotion of it. You know, it's just get the best looking gift. You know, I work with money, and there's a lot of people who come in and it's like, give me the nicest looking 100 you have. You're giving somebody money as a gift. They don't fucking care the quality of the bill, people. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, I want it to look nice. If you want it to look nice, go out and get an actual fucking gift. You're giving them cotton. You're giving them paper. Like, it's money. It doesn't matter how well of a bill it looks. They're going to crinkle it up and put it in their wallet or the purse. Like, yeah, it's just, it's lost the emotion. It's become a commercialized time period, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And this movie does ring out pretty well to that. I will give this movie that. It says a lot to the monetization of Christmas.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know, I think like other winter holidays have kind of followed suit just because the commercialization has been so high. Like, it's just it's there. It's convenient to partake in because all the stores switch over to Christmas so early. But there is one thing I want to say though, like this year, it definitely all feels different. It's so different. I mean, I might not even go see my folks.
Right.
And that's sad. It's sad.
It definitely is sad. My parents and we already you know, pre-planned for the idea that we won't be able to see each other in Christmas. You know, we saw each other for Thanksgiving, and we dropped off and exchanged all of our Christmas presents because we're most likely having you know, an over the internet Christmas.
Right.
And you know, I might have secretly unwrapped all my gifts and looked at them. You know, it was a good haul this year. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it.
When does this come out though?
I think it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, I think it's Christmas Eve, so she'll know the day before. Sorry, Mom. I swear I did not open them immediately once you dad left. I did not. I might have. It might have been. I waited an hour to make sure they weren't coming back.
Oh boy.
Good haul,
to make
though.
sure
Good
they
haul.
weren't coming back.
But Jingle All the Way, I mean, it's here's my thought on it. It is an entertaining movie. You know, I do laugh at times, and there's some enjoyable moments, but for the most part, I don't connect with the characters. They're all kind of assholes, especially Arnold. Like, I'm sorry, he is just a terrible person. Like, there's so many moments where he stops and thinks, like, you know, I'm stealing from a kid, and it's like, yeah, you're damn right, you are stealing from a fucking kid right now. Or it's like, you are literally, he even specifically makes sure that his neighbor's house is trashed by a reindeer by locking it in a specific room where it's going to destroy everything.
That's true, but yeah, but Ted is like really moving in on his wife. I do not. Yeah. I do feel bad for Ted's kid because someday down the line there's going to be some kind of lawsuit, and he's going to have to watch his dad. Like, he's going to have to learn his dad is not a good person.
Right, yeah. Most assuredly, it's going to be a bad time. But even if you do suspect that this guy is, you know, making the moves on your wife, you also trust your wife to, you know, not reciprocate those moves. He does not at all in any way trust his wife constantly just like,
even though she's like
just...
way not into Ted, like she
yeah, but Arnold, for for good reasons, thinks his wife might be thinking about getting a divorce,
right?
And like, honestly, if I was his wife, I would be in the same boat, thinking about getting a divorce.
Yeah,
because this guy, he barely attends your kids' events. He's not showing much interest in the kids' interests. He's clearly not listening to the wife, because there's so many times where she mentions something and he's just like, oh yeah, I did that, or I'll get to that, and clearly has no intentions of doing any of it.
Yeah.
And it is a story of his redemption, but I just don't think he deserves this redemption at the end.
No, he definitely just takes it. But I mean he does, in a very physical sense, save the day at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did cause the rivalry that made that come to a head. Like,
yeah. So let's actually talk that scene. So we won't give too many specifics away. But it's a action heavy scene involving a almost superhero like esque fight between Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
So first off, you think about that: Sinbad versus Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ha! That's a joke.
But it's like, beautiful.
It is a funny fight. But you look at who Sinbad's character is. He's just a mailman who's just trying to please his son for the holiday season. And in order to do that, in order to accomplish this goal of his, he almost nearly tosses somebody else's kid off a roof.
Yeah, I know.
Not good people in this movie at all.
No. Even the Santa Claus.
And the only reason Arnold Schwarzenegger's there is because he just blindly stumbled into this gig. Like, he didn't set himself up to be the hero of the day at all. Just fate was like, all right, you deserve this. Like, and I don't know why fate thought he deserved it, but fate did. Go for it.
It's the Christmas Carol syndrome. That's what's going on. They're like, okay, we're gonna put him in a situation where he understands.
Yeah. But Ebenezer like earns his redemption at the end. He understands his wrongs and tries to make up for them. Whereas Arnold kind of sort of understands his wrongs, but I don't know if he's going to try to make up for them. He's probably going to go back to work come Monday.
I don't know. I don't know. He probably won't buy his Christmas presents that late.
Hopefully not. And hopefully he's more interested. Yeah. Hopefully he's more invested in his family. Yeah.
I don't know what he does, but he has this. I like the scene when he's on the phone, because that's just another thing that's hard for me to imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger doing, is working on the phone all day.
All right. It sounded like he was selling mattresses.
Oh, is it? I have no idea.
I don't know specifically what he's doing. I just remembered like one line he said sounded something that was like mattress related. And I was like, why would somebody need like 200 mattresses? Because it's like, I can't remember at all what he's talking about. But it made me think mattresses. And I was like, that doesn't make sense at all if he's a mattress salesman. Because, nobody's calling a mattress salesman that many times.
Well, maybe they're selling
my number one customer.
You're my number one customer. Yeah, every single customer, even his wife.
Even his wife, which is apparently he's done that before.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Liz, I'm so sorry.
I think that's really what it comes down to. It's just like Arnold doesn't perform a relatable character for me.
I think
he's just a goof.
He is pretty goofy, but I do think that this honestly is one of his better jobs at acting like a regular human being. I mean, he's got all these other roles where he's a giant death robot,
the Predator, but Predators, he's good in Predator.
Yeah, he is. But another one that I thought that he did a pretty good job of acting like a real person, even though he was a super cop, was in The Kindergartner. Have you seen that? Cop? The kindergarten cop. Yeah, sorry, that's what it is.
Yeah. I saw that as a kid too. Yeah, he's a weird figure from my childhood. I made fun of him as an actor because he just seems like he's phoning it in a lot for me. And where he shines is Terminator, because he does seem like a very out of place individual.
Yeah, he's just so big.
Yeah. Or what is the movie with him and Andre the Giant? What's that it's a mockumentary or the wrestling?
No. What is that? I think it's called Pumping Iron. It's a documentary. But it's him and Lou Ferrigno.
That's right.
Yeah, and I like that. Yeah,
I do too. That's what I'm saying. Like that role, even though that is specifically what he was doing at the time, but like he was acting in that, and that's perfect. Like he's great in that, and he's great in like Terminator. Yeah. And here, when he's just trying to act like a salesman, it doesn't seem right for him.
No,
it's just. I'm not in love with it, and it throws me off. And him trying to redeem himself as a person, I'm just like, no, you're just there's so many times where he'll like chase kids to try to get this toy. Like there's one time where there's a ball bouncing through a mall, and he's following kids creepily down slides.
Yeah. Oh god.
And it's so disturbing almost. And I'm just like, you are not a good person. You don't deserve this toy. Like, you don't deserve this.
His kid, though, I will say his kid deserves his father to keep his promises. That's
yes.
That's the truth of it.
And that was honestly another part that made me so sad, was how devoted this kid was to his father. Yet his hardworking mom, who's there for everything, he just kind of just doesn't pay attention to her.
Jeez, Mom.
Oh, geez, when's Dad gonna be here? And like, I guess I can relate. I can't say anything against the story for that, because that is how kids can be. It's like sons typically do tend to look to their dads more than their mothers.
I would say, especially from our era and before. I mean, it's changing a bit. Culture's changing. There's a shift from the people of our age on. There's a blend. There's a blend in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah,
things don't just happen.
You're wearing a stocking cap right now, and it's right on the edge of the frame. But the brim of it looks like your hair, but it looks like it's cut in the Spock fashion.
Oh yeah.
When it's at the edge of my camera.
There we go. I just need pointed ears.
Right
now.
there.
Yeah, I just need pointed ears.
You just look like you're wearing Spock hair.
It does kind of look like that. Like a bad wig.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Well, anyways.
But yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do know what I was saying. I was going to say, geez, Mom, when are you going to be abducted by sand people?
There are some fun cameos throughout this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the kid himself is, he plays Anakin in the prequel, the first prequel movie.
Is it the same kid?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
I
mean, obviously there's Sinbad and Phil Hartman. We've already talked them.
We talked them.
Chris Parnell, who plays the voice, he's one of the voices in Archer. Cyril Figgis.
Oh yes,
he's a store clerk who laughs at Arnold when Arnold asks about the toy.
Laughs at him real good. I laughed really hard at that scene.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun scene. I really like that. And he grabs another store attendant, and he's just like, hey, he's looking for the Turbo Man toy.
We got plenty of Buster.
Oh,
is it?
Buster,
no, it's
man.
Booster. Because they're Turbo Man Booster.
His smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that was another cameo.
Pink monstrosity.
The guy from Police Academy. I don't remember what.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is what he was from. But there's also Vern Troyer, who plays a Mini Me Santa.
Oh man,
he's Mini Me in Austin Powers, and he plays Mini Santa in this.
Yeah.
And another Santa Claus is Jim Belushi.
He seems to be kind of the ringleader of the Santa Clauses. At the very least, he
Dude,
brings them into this strange.
I did not even recognize him. I recognized his voice, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Who the fuck is this?" And like, I had to look it up, and I was just like, "That's Jim Belushi." I was like, "No way, that's Jim Belushi." And like, the beard comes off, and even without the beard, I'm like, I don't see it. Like, it's, I mean, I can see it, but it's just, it was really good. I was just like, the man blends.
When I was looking to watch this movie, the cast, like the first couple names of the cast pops up on some of the streaming services. I can't remember what we watched this on, but anyways, it said Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then the second name on there was Jim Belushi. I was like, Sinbad's second bill in this movie, I know that. Right. So I was like, I think this is a glitch in the system. I'm gonna look on something else. But yeah, he's only in it for a very short amount of time, and he's just like this, like, hey, Santa's got what you need kind of guy.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
And I think his part's pretty funny.
And then Arnold just beats the fuck out of a bunch of snowmen.
A bunch of Santa Clauses, yeah.
Santa Clauses, yeah. It's not snowmen, Santa Clauses.
Though it'd be really funny
if snowmen was full time. But
well, you did tear this movie a new one.
Yeah, you ready for closing statements?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. One? Yeah. So for me, nostalgia, it kind of wins over for me for this film. So I'm by no means going to argue that it's a great film. But I do recommend it. Like, if you're looking for a new Christmas movie that you haven't seen before, it's funny. I get a kick out of it.
You got 25 days to fill before Christmas.
That's
you got,
right.
Watch one movie a day. Some people, my mom's crazy enough that she watches, Christmas movies like I watch horror movies at Halloween time.
I couldn't do that.
So, fill a day with this. Sure.
It's like the week and a half before, if that I'm like, oh yeah, let's do some Christmas stuff. But before that, it just makes me cranky. I'm like the Grinch. I have to wait for my heart to grow.
Oh my god! I was about to say they were down here for Thanksgiving and forced me to watch The Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey's version.
Yeah. So
I was just like, I was sitting there like reading a book, just like, all right,
it's too early.
It's not terrible, but yeah, it definitely was just like I was not in a Christmassy mood. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think honestly, this is like, there's sometimes where like, in the middle of summer, it's Christmas in July, I guess, that I will watch a Christmas movie or two because I'm feeling like I'm missing that time of the year, I guess, because it's too damn hot outside. And, but this is probably the earliest I've watched a Christmas movie in a long time.
It's definitely for me, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a full face because it's just childhood favorite, and it's not like one of those where I watched it and was completely disappointed from rewatching it, like Halloween Town. Oh god.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's not as bad as that.
It's not.
That was made for
movie.
Younger kids.
This was made so a family could watch it.
Yeah, I give it. I have a lower score written down on the paper, but out of respect, I gave it 2 stars. I upped it a bit
for the sake of our friendship.
For this, I don't want to be too mean. It's not bad. It's there's a name that pops up in the opening credits that made me understand what I was about to get into, and it was in the executive producer section. It said Chris Columbus, who is the director of Harry Potter's 1 and 2, which I really enjoy. But when I saw his name pop up, and he wasn't the director, he was just an executive producer, I realized this is gonna try to get more flashy than it's available, or than it's monetarily able to do.
And
it definitely did, because that third act, it tries to do so much, and it didn't seem like they really had any good way to wrap it up, because they hadn't established any good characters, so they had no idea of how to redeem anybody in this. And they're like, you know what, let's not redeem anyone, let's just have an action heavy finishing scene that makes you feel like they accomplished something,
right,
so that we can forgive them. And I just could not vibe with it. It I watched it. I didn't watch it as much as you as a kid. I think I watched it maybe 3 times. Maybe just 2, honestly.
Well, my brother and I watched it all the time. If it wasn't me trying to watch it, it's him.
Yeah, well, we had movies like that, definitely. This could have been one, but there was just something about it that we just didn't come back to it that often. And I feel like, honestly, it's the lead actors. You know, I like Arnold, and I can find Sinbad funny at times. I just feel like they don't bring the right chemistry that could make those characters so much better. Like, if they were just if there was just a little bit of a more friendly rivalry between them,
right?
Like, they're still willing to beat the crap out of each other, but at the same time, there was like, this guy's doing the exact same thing as me, and I deeply respect him, but I'm still gonna beat the crap out of him so I can get this toy and make my kid happy.
Right,
that would have just been funnier.
There's even a moment where Sinbad's like, "Hey, we could team up," and like, I kind of want to see that movie too, like where they actually team up and it's them against the rest of America trying to find this toy.
I think it definitely would have made for a better third act, definitely, because that third act is just wild and over the top, and like, it can be fun, but for the most part it just felt cringy to me. Yeah. And I was just like, I was so happy once they were just like, all right, we're at the sappy, everything's done, and now we're just at the sappy, let's try to get the audience to like tear up a bit and call it a day.
Yeah, but that's a real
2 stars.
Right? Right?
Right. It definitely 100%. Yeah, he just I don't that was another thing. Okay, he has a suit on at the end.
Uh-huh.
And there's many moments where the kid's like, use this weapon, and he just looks down at his wrist and a button flicks out into his wrist and he presses it and it uses the exact same weapon the kid just called out. But it was the exact same thing each time. Use your jetpack. Looks down at his wrist. Something new comes into his hand and he grabs it and hits the button. Use your blades. Looks down at his wrist. A new button comes out. It's like, how are you getting the right button into your hand? Like, what are you doing that makes this suit work at all?
It's voice activated, finger triggered, Greg. Come on.
But he wasn't saying the weapons.
Yeah, it's just his boy needed to say it. That's all.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like by blood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's that Turbo Man blood.
God. And I do step back and realize me complaining about that right now, about a 90s made for TV movie too. I have no life.
Was it made for TV?
It might have had a theater release, but
I mean,
it
he's a
definitely
big enough
like a
name
VHS.
draw. I feel like both these guys.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
would you say Sinbad's?
Sinbad was hot for a good
year.
chunk. Yeah, he was in a shit ton of movies when we were kids. Well, okay, yeah, I think we talked about it, and honestly, I have to say, I think your score is a fair score. 2 stars for this movie. I just my system's just, it's all about the face.
And that's good. That's fine. There's so many people out there who would agree with it. We're both bearded white men with sock caps on.
Yeah, that's
and
what
glasses.
we bring to the table. Merry Christmas.
Oh,
ho, ho, ho. And a happy other winter holidays. Sorry.
And a happy Die Hard.
And a happy Die Hard. Why don't you tell us about Die Hard?
Die Hard. Otherwise known as The Hard in German.
The Hard.
The Hard.
The Hard.
Directed by John McTiernan. Love the man. Did Hunt for Red October and this. And Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, it stars Bruce Willis as the amazing John McClane. Started a franchise that, in my opinion, didn't really need to happen, but it gave me. I do like 2 more films in this franchise. The rest of them,
agree.
Happened.
The rest of them happened. Yeah, this movie, is definitely. I can't say this is a good movie. I mean, I can say that.
I wanted to put this after Jingle All the Way because I thought it would be rude to open up and say Die Hard is, in my opinion, a perfect movie, and then treat Jingle All the Way I treated it. Because I do think Die Hard is a perfect action movie. Is it the greatest movie of all time? No, there's a lot of flaws to it. But as an action movie, I think it's definitely one of the best.
All right, yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's not really my favorite genre in general, so I will agree that it has to be one of the top.
Yeah, it's not my favorite genre in general, which is why I like the classic action films like this and T2 and...
Yeah, well, see, though, as soon as they have a sci-fi element into it, I'm a little more interested. Yeah. But for let's go drive a plane onto the into the city, those kind of movies.
Oh, you talking Die Hard 4? Live or Let Die?
Yeah, that, or Con Air, or though I do enjoy Con Air because there's just so much shit about Con Air, man.
Oh, it's Nick Cage, man.
I know. I mean, I love watching that movie, but it's so fucking weird, man. It's just
we'll have to talk that Sunday because that was one that as a kid we watched. Not little kid, but older kid. That was me and my brother watched that a lot. That was a fun movie. But we also watched Die Hard a shit ton. Especially if it got around the Christmas time, because it is a Christmas movie, damn it. It has Christmas elements. It's about, finding your family, what you like about, what you love about family life so much, and making sure that you're able to give to them as much as you want to.
That's what it's about. It's about office Christmas parties. It's about snorting cocaine off your desk and then
that stuff happens. That stuff happens in it. The message of the movie, though, man, he's trying to find retribution. Okay, let's set up Die Hard.
Okay,
if you don't know by now, Die Hard finds John McClane, a New York policeman in California, trying to win back his wife and family. They moved out to California. His wife got a job out there. McClane is, he's the manly man who's like, you're not going to make it out there. He's like, you should stay with me. I got business to do in New York. I'm not leaving my policeman job here. And she says, fuck him. She's a strong, independent woman. She moves off to, her name's Holly, by the way. She takes the kids, moves off to California, changes her name to Gerardo without letting him know. And
which I'm guessing is her maiden name, right?
Yeah. And she makes it she makes it fine out in California because, again, she's a strong woman. And I think that is one thing I will say about this first Die Hard movie is it's got strong, diverse characters.
Yeah.
It's not just about the strong white man, even though he is a white male savior. It's not just about him. But he goes out to California to try to win back his wife. She's at a Christmas office party. They're in the tower. And it's got, millions of billions of dollars. Not millions of billions, but it's got billions of dollars of bearer bonds locked up in a crazy good safe. For some reason. And, while Bruce Willis's character is there trying to win back his wife, a group of terrorists led by amazing Alan Rickman come to steal those bearer bonds. Well, and so they hold this office party hostage, and John McClane sneaks away in the chaos to hunt the terrorists down one by one and save everyone's life. And that is Die Hard.
That is Die Hard. So the German characters, they want everyone to believe that they're terrorists. to stall for time so that they can steal these bearer bonds. They're in it for the bearer bonds.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not technically terrorists. They're technically international thieves. But like, let's talk real fast about the beauty between Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman, because you have Bruce Willis as the strong male character lead, cop running around. He's got a lot of flaws. He's got a lot of personality flaws. He's got charm. What was that?
I am angry.
Yeah, he's a very New Yorker, like, hey. He's like, people in California are weird. They're all making out and like doing coke and everything. It's a really hilarious kind of like fish out of water moment for him when he gets to this hotel.
Yeah, he does kind of act like these things don't happen in New York, but they do.
I know, right? He like sees all this stuff and he's just like, oh man, these Californians are really weird. And I was like, come on now. You see this. You have to see this in New York. He's not the greatest husband.
Yeah.
Just like with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jingle All the Way, he's got issues listening, issues respecting and trusting. There's a charm to his character that's not in Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Jingle All the Way. There's a charisma to McClane. Like, he still cares. He still wants to help and wants to be there. There's an actual, it's not just a selfish need for him to reconnect with his family. He still is selfish.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
Like, he's trying to be there and his kids want him to be there. That kind of thing is going on. But like, I feel like he's on the same story as Arnold's character, except for a few chapters later, before this event happens, which I think makes the ending a little bit more fulfilled. Is like, hey, I came here to be here, and the fact that I was here saved our lives. Like,
yeah, right.
That's a little bit more satisfying too. I stumbled into this warehouse and then I saved the day by learning how to fly.
And also here, whereas in Jingle All the Way, she doesn't. The wife of Arnold in Jingle All the Way doesn't fall in love with him again.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of that movie, she kind of falls apart from him throughout the whole movie until the end, when she's like, "Oh yeah, he is hot, and he did just save my kid."
Yeah, it's definitely some of the rekindling has to do with the thick ass latex
suit. Yeah, right. But here with Die Hard, Holly actually does kind of remember why she likes John throughout the movie. Because like she'll, the terrorist, something will happen with the terrorist, and she'll see it and she'll be like, oh yeah, I remember. It's like you could see there's like a moment there with her where she's like, yeah, John, that is John, that's him.
Yeah.
And she's smiling even though it's very clear that he just pissed people off. She's like, yep, only my husband can do that.
It's John.
But it's just, she just kind of remembers why she liked him, and he's clearly trying to make it better. He has a lot of issues to overcome, and from the sequels we know he fails to overcome those issues, but at the end of it here there's hope. But the sequels have to continue the reality of events with this character. Like, let's face it.
He I don't know, like, and I feel like that's kind of a problem in the other movies, is that there's not, at least in the earlier sequels, like he doesn't really have like a driving force. I don't feel like it's more of, it's in the
especially in the second recent
one. In the sequels closer to this one, he seems like he is more of just like an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, the second one just kind of feels like a repeat, but at the airport.
Right.
And then the third one is kind of like, it's good. It's all right. It's the most cut up movie you'll see on television, in my opinion. Because like my brother and I would catch the repeats of this on broadcast network where everything would be edited out because he's swearing like crazy.
Right.
So like each scene would be something new. You know, he'd say like yippee ki my mother friend or whatever. Like it's really bad. Like it's really stupid. And that is one part. Yeah, it's really like that's not exactly what he says. I can't remember it at all, but it's almost as dumb as that. But then the third one, you know, the wife and the kids aren't there anymore. They're not, you know, he's kind of just run out of his luck. You know, he's fucked up. He's at the end of his police career kind of thing. And like, I really like the third one because of that element, because it's completely different. He's failed completely. Now he's got to redeem himself throughout the course of this movie or die.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the first one, you know, it's nice to watch him redeem himself through violence. And that is like the message of this movie is like violence or redemption through violence. And it's not the greatest of messages, but God, I love it. Like it's such a fun movie to watch him like outwit these terrorists.
It is satisfying to see, like, because he is, I think, like, the average viewer identifies with John more than the people that he's saving, because like they're in this big executive building and there's really honestly I feel like a small percentage of people who work in that environment, at least nowadays. It might have been more prevalent back then, but I feel like office jobs are not as prevalent anymore. That might be because I've never worked one. But I feel like, you know, blue collar people like ourselves can identify with Bruce's character. Like, he is the odd man out, and then these guys just come and blow up the shit. He's like, I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah. And like many times, like you and I especially have felt like we've been placed in positions where it's our responsibility to get this accomplished. You know, nobody else in our group is going to get this handled, so we got to step forward and make sure that it gets done.
Yeah, college.
We've, you know, we just became supervisors basically.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's his, you know, viewpoint on it. He's just a cop. People have guns, they're shooting people. I've got to do my job and just, you know, try to protect them.
Right.
But that's his role in the movie. You know, he's got to protect these people and save these people, and he's going to do everything he can to get it done.
Yeah,
and I love it.
And he is. He definitely does some things that I feel like he shouldn't be doing, even as a cop. Like,
yeah, he definitely gets put into like life or death moments where he makes decisions. I'm like, I don't know if a cop should get away with something like that.
Yeah,
you know. But
like even one of the German guys is like,
good.
you won't kill me because you're a cop.
You're a cop. You got the rules.
You got the rules, little copy boy.
And then he's like, try me. And he beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah. But he wasn't trying to kill that guy.
Yeah, but that guy was wearing the tightest sweatpants ever.
Thank you, Carl. No, it wasn't Carl. It was Carl's brother.
No, it was Carl's brother, yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody is led by Alan Rickman, and this is, I don't want to say this because I don't know if it's true, but it's true for me. I feel like this is the movie that made Alan Rickman get noticed, you know, big time.
I believe that.
You know, he plays this character so well.
He does.
It's
amazing. He controls the room, not just that group of people.
Yeah, he is brilliant as a villain, especially here. Like, we can talk Snape all day. Like, I really love his Severus Snape, and someday we'll put out a Harry Potter playlist.
I'm sure.
But here, like, I think this is his best acting that I've seen him in, at least. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when him and Bruce Willis first meet physically. Bruce has never actually seen Hans Gruber, the leader of the terrorist group, and Hans, played by Alan Rickman, realizes that and puts on a disguise. You know, he acts like an American, And he's just like, oh God, no, don't kill me. He's just like, I'm innocent.
It is honestly like the worst American accent, but I feel like Alan is trying to do a thing where he is a British human being playing a German who's pretending to put on an American accent.
I don't know. To me, it just comes across as a guy who's scared.
Oh yeah,
To me, it does sound like an American. Yeah, it does sound like a slippery American accent, but it only sounds that way because of fear to me. Yeah, because it's like when he's talking, he's like, "Oh God, no!" There's that little tremble in there, and it's just like I don't know technically if John McClane was fooled by it. The movie hints that he wasn't, but like he could have just been,
he could have been on the
playing
fence
it
about
safe.
I feel like he was on the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I've always watched it, that he was just like, I don't know if I should really trust this guy, so I'm not going to give him a gun with bullets in it, but...
Yeah, because he does that pretty cool... Helpful. Like, there's just, like, that scene, like, pretty... It's almost kind of a background thing, is when he asks his name, and he says, Gray, Bill Gray, and he's looking at the sign behind him. I thought that was pretty smart. And there was a W. Gray, so he was like, okay... Could be. Yeah,
I like that too. That's the thing that I really like about Die Hard is everything gets set up.
Yeah.
One of the biggest plot points is his feet. He's on the airplane heading in, and the guy he's sitting next to on the airplane is like, "Yo, when you land, when you get to where you're supposed to go, take off your socks and your shoes, and ball up your feet into little fists and walk around on the carpet. It'll relax you." And Bruce is like, "You're fucking crazy." And he gets to his wife's room and he does it, and he's just walking around barefoot. And he's like, "All right, that guy made sense."
Yeah.
Then the terrorist attack
did it.
Yeah, the terrorist attack. He doesn't have socks or shoes on. He's on the run barefoot, and he comes across Hans Gruber, who sees that and uses that against him. And like everything gets set up, and it's just brilliant. It's just
good
it's such
adversaries
a fun
too. Like they.
Yeah, they really are.
Alan, Hans rather, is like a brilliant tactician, but John is just so resilient. Like he will just figure out a way to get through it, even if it means like losing his leg.
Yeah, John's the best rat in the maze, or mouse in the maze.
Right. Yeah.
He will get to the cheese no matter what obstacle you put between him and it. Yeah. And it's great. Like, and there's another pairing, there's John McClane versus Hans Gruber, but there's also John McClane and what's the cop's name? Al Powell? Powell?
Al. I do like Al.
Yeah. Played by Reginald VelJohnson.
From
Al doesn't really... Yeah, from Family Man. He doesn't really lend much to the movie. Like, he doesn't do anything but ground John McClane's character.
Right, yeah. He's a psychological help for John, so John doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, because John's trying to deal with, an imaginable or an impossible situation, and Al's trying to talk him through it. He's like, we need you on the inside because you're getting shit done. We were dealing with 15 terrorists. Now we're dealing with 7. You keep at it. You keep strong.
And his captain and the FBI don't know fucking shit. They're probably the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah, they're hilarious. God. They are the flaw of the movie. They're the biggest flaw is, when you think about how the outside world responds to what's happening inside these towers, it's a little ridiculous.
What's funny though hilarious. Is that they have like a similar flaw to John. John, they're all so fucking cocky.
They all do exactly.
Yeah, they all want to be a cowboy, but John is the only one who has an excuse to be because he's in it. He's in it right now. He's got to do stuff. And they're just like, no, I got to get in there and fuck shit up. And he's like, no, you're fucking shit up.
Yeah, and I love that he spends a good like 20 minutes of this movie trying really hard to get cops to come to the building, and then he spends like the next 40 minutes trying to keep them from entering the building.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's such a funny thing for me that he's just like, "Come on, get to the building, and then they get to the building. He's like, "Stay away from the building." He's like, "What are you doing running in here?" I don't. It makes sense when it happens, but it's funny to look at because it's just.
I don't remember quite what changed. I think it was just the cops' tactics that were.
Yeah, well, he also discovered. He discovered the explosives.
Oh, right, the explosives. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that this building should have been leveled when that entire floor exploded. Mm-hmm. Maybe not leveled, but the top portion should have collapsed.
Yeah, there's some suspension of disbelief, or whatever that word is. Suspension of disbelief in this movie for sure. Like especially when he ties a fire hose around him and like jumps off the building and then shoots through the glass to like get back inside. I mean maybe back in the 80s glass was that thin. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't make that statement, but I feel like, a couple bullets isn't going to get through skyscraper glass.
It shouldn't.
Days. I don't think so.
Unless they were being real cheap.
But, somebody will comment on this and be like, well, you see, actually, the velocity and the power of the Magnum such and such bullet. You got me. You're right. You got me. I don't know shit. What am I talking about?
But if he would have used a Beretta, it would not have broken.
Sir, I'm not interested. Sir, I'm not familiar with the Beretta. Go back to James Bond. Spoilers. Man. Yeah, the only really thing the last thing I wanted to talk about specifically was the treatment of black characters in Die Hard.
Sure, yeah. What specifically did you want to talk about?
Well, for the 80s, I feel like this is a very good movie because it has a diverse cast. Holly is a damsel in distress, but at the same time, she is presented and very much is a strong woman throughout this whole movie. And highly intelligent. She's the one that like walks in there and she's like, all right, we got a pregnant woman out there, give me a fucking sofa, let us go to the bathroom. And Hans Gruber, the leader of a terrorist group, is just like, well, not terrorist group, but leader of thieves, is like, oh shit, and she's right, I gotta do what she says. Like, he doesn't attack her or anything. He's like, all right, like, okay, go smart, bring her a sofa.
I do like that. And just to bounce off of that real quick, there was that other side character that was one of the office people. I can't remember his name at all, but he kind of seemed to have a thing for Holly.
The sleazebag.
He kept on doing like saying some sexist things, and Holly was like, dude, you need to shut up at some point. And I thought, she just slammed the door shut in his face many times too. Yeah. Where it's also, again, where it has strong characters is in its black characters. It has I think 3 supporting black characters. There's Theo, who's part of the thieves. He's played by Clarence Gilliard, also from Walker Texas Ranger. He's Walker's sidekick in Walker Texas Ranger. But he's the only, he's one of 2 terrorists, I believe, that survive. I feel like there's another, there's one that just gets decked by John at the end. He just gets hit by the car by Argyle. That's it. Okay. And Argyle just jumps out and punches him in the face, and that's the last we see of Theo. And Argyle is another one of the I like Argyle
characters. he's great, and he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he does the right thing.
He does, but after ignoring the phone for forever,
because he's listening to music. He's just chilling. He's doing his job. But once he discovers what's going on at the towers, he just lays low. He does the right thing. He doesn't get involved because he knows it might, he might get killed by these terrorists. So he just lays low until he sees a terrorist try to leave, and then he stops the terrorist. Who's Theo, who
Yeah, he's their technical guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a lot of those like cut to him during the action scenes for the one-liner moment.
Right.
And like it's silly, but he delivers them so perfectly in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny to just like cut back to him. He's like touchdown. And I'm just like, oh, I love.
Oh
you.
yeah, he's always
so
sports
ridiculous.
references too. Yeah, which he like doesn't seem like a very sporty guy. Theo doesn't, but I mean, he might be, a spectator, statistic loving, sports fan. But
then the last is Al, who grounds John McClane's character and also has a really good backstory.
Yeah,
like he in a very emotional scene with him where he's trying to help John come to terms with what John has to do, what John has to accomplish inside the towers. He tells John that he's afraid to pull his gun anymore. He took the job he has as a cop because he had a very bad incident where he shot a kid because he thought the kid had a gun.
Yeah.
And it's a realistic moment that I do feel for all police officers out there when, because I'm sure that it happens to many officers where they have that moment where, where they might think somebody has a gun. Whether or not they pull the trigger is, one thing, but it's got to be a hard job. And he has that emotional conversation with John, and at the end, he redeems himself. He overcomes that hurdle within himself psychologically by pulling the trigger and shooting a terrorist when he comes running out of the building.
Yeah.
It's another character who redeems themselves through violence. Big message of all Die Hard, but it's a really, it's a really good driving story throughout, and they had such great characters. None of them died. The black characters, it's like that's a constant trope for movies. Yeah. Is when when you have the single black character, you have to kill them off somewhere along the line, which is egregious and disgusting. And none of their three side characters who are black die through this movie. And I just wanted to applaud. Yeah. I wanted to applaud Die Hard on being an 80s movie that had a diverse cast that were all strong in their own rights.
Yeah. Well, I kind of do want to talk about what you're talking about with Al Powell. With cops, and like you said, it is a hard job. I think that the problem is that we're facing with today is that they're institutionally taught to be fearful of certain people, and that is why there's so much quick triggers. Yeah. And things like that. But then also you have people that go into the force just because they are hateful. But we don't want to end this on a sad note. Because like you said, there are some very strong, diverse characters in this film.
And you don't typically you don't ever see John McClane in like cop uniform or acting much like an actual cop throughout this film. He's just a guy with a gun stopping terrorists. And it's all well and good. It's in a movie, but I feel like in real life, if a guy went cowboy like this, it'd be a big fucking deal. It shouldn't have happened. Well, I don't think it would be a big deal. I feel like if it went down as well as it did, like, few casualties and he saved the day, like if that happened in real life, I feel like most people would be applauding him as a hero still.
Yeah, but there would be...
I feel like today's market would definitely be pushing it that way.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be a hero to some, but to others, they'd be like, dude, you cannot just take this into your own hands like that. It's too dangerous, too many variables.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are like that in this movie. They're presented as comedic relief. It's what's the one cop that's there? Paul Gleason from Breakfast Club. He's one of the he's not FBI, but he's one of the
he's like his commander or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Al Powell's commander, like a guy above Al who shows up, and he's of that opinion. He's like, you shouldn't be taking this matter into your hands. You should be, let us deal with this situation down here. You're messing things up in there.
Right. But he also completely ignores any information John McClane has.
Exactly. He's presented in a very bad light.
Yeah.
So it's like the movie definitely tries to press that John had no other issue or no other choice but to save the day. But that's up for argument whether or not he actually did. I still think on the surface level, you can dive in and pick it apart, but the action is just too much fun. I guess this is becoming a closing statement for me. The action is just too much fun, and it's such an enjoyable movie because Bruce Willis is the perfect choice for this role. He wasn't too huge at the time. This is 1988. He was making a name for himself, but he wasn't bombastic or anything yet. Yeah. And, a lot of big action stars turned this down. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually offered
that would have been a completely different movie.
I would not have liked it, I don't think.
They're completely different.
But Bruce brings that, that charisma to this role. His character is an asshole, but at the same time, you kind of like him. He has that charismatic goofiness that you're just like, all right, you do have some good one-liners, and you are a fun cowboy.
Yeah.
I give it 4 stars. I do. I think it is a perfect action movie.
Well, I don't know. It might just because I'm not like a big action fan, but it definitely, like, I can't argue that it is one of the best action films. So I can't argue against your score. I just, it's hard for me to make an action film a favorite film for me. But it does have a full face. I mean, there's a very well-rounded movie. I mean, there's hard to say. I couldn't imagine someone picking this up, watching it, and saying that was a bad movie.
Right.
That's just not gonna happen. I mean, I guess there's somebody out there that has no fun in their heart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, who won?
Who wins the genre Smackdown of Christmas movies? I think what it all comes down to is, what are we declaring the winner? Are we declaring the most Christmas movie of the two that we were watching, or are we declaring the best movie of our Christmas films that we chose? I don't want to give it to Jingle All the Way, and then therefore opting for what I consider to be the best movie.
All right. Well, listen. I think even if you said the best Christmas action movie, that just to open up the window a little bit wider, then obviously Die Hard wins.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but if you were going strictly Christmas movie, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's just strictly Christmas, I still want to give it to.
I feel like it'd be very close. The margin would be a lot closer of which way I would go. But I say that that Die Hard takes it. I mean, I know I gave them both a full face, but I know that Jingle All the Way is not like a top-notch movie where people still go out of their way to buy this.
Yeah, you'd be crucified by fans.
Oh, I'm sure. But somebody really likes Jingle All the Way out there, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
They definitely do. Yeah, and they definitely hate Die Hard. Somebody out there is like, "How fucking dare you?" Like, Jingle All the Way is a warm-hearted movie. Well, there you have it. Die Hard, reigning Christmas champion. Take that, Jesus.
There you go. You get this here. It is a Christmas ornament. It has Bruce Willis's face on it. And since you told me that Arnold Schwarzenegger was up for this role, the only thing I've had in my mind is, I was a New York cop.
Just yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
That would have been beautiful. There were other people too, like Sylvester Stallone. I read was up for it. Clint Eastwood, I think, would have actually been kind of funny.
That would have been interesting. He's a lot older though. I guess
it's coming off of like the Dirty Harry movies and everything too. Right. So like, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like especially if they still cast the same person for Holly.
Right. It would have been a little weird.
You're like, man, that's a. I mean, but he's a cop. He might have been too busy and started late, and then, I could imagine the same story happening to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, the stress of the job, grayed his hair real fast.
Right. Oh man. Well, I've been the Faceless Leon,
and I'm the Green Traveler.
Safe travels, everybody. Merry holidays and stuff.
Ho ho ho!
Do you thirst for adventure? Do you search for laughter and friendship?
Ha 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 ha!
Then don't miss the adventures in Valagorn! Welcome to a new world of fantasy, fun, and action! Coming to you as a monthly serial starting on January 19th of 2021. And brought to you by the imaginative people of FictionWorks 19. Starring Greg Callahan as Raphael Anastas Magoo, Sarah Christ as Vashti Whisperwind, and Kenneth Glynn as Pai Sho Wukong. We'll see you in Valagorn. The Adventures in Valagorn. Hey there, couch potatoes. This is the Faceless Leon here. Tell you about our new addition to the show. We will be bringing to you 2 episodes a week, starting on Monday the 4th of January, 2021. I'll tell you, thank you for letting that year be over. We're going to bring in the new year nice and strong, 2 episodes a week. Do our regular thing Thursday. Nothing's changing there. But on Mondays, we are now going to be bringing to you playlists. We're going to start off with watching the Disney movies, the OG Disney movies from chronological order. We'll break it up there with some other things. Who knows what we might do. But we're looking at some long series of movies. Anyways, we hope that you, the listener, the potatoes at home, enjoy it. Safe travels. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you liked the show, please leave a review, like, follow, or subscribe wherever you listen. This will help us grow our show. Be sure to visit us at facebook.com/greenandfaceless. There you'll find many links to our show and to our website. Thank you all very much for listening.